Hello and welcome to a year of Goddess Magic for February. This is our February practice update. And our theme for 30 Days of Goddess this month is create. And the goddess we are honoring is Kali or Kali Ma. And so Kali is the Hindu goddess, the Indian goddess, the ferocious and complex goddess of life and death. She's associated with both creation and destruction, also with time and change and power. She's linked to empowered sexuality as well as to violence and also to justice. And she's associated with liberation and renewal. So she's very complex. There's a lot that you can get into with Kali. Sometimes people fear her. She's really associated with rage and destruction. I tend to associate her with the creation that comes after destruction, the renewal that comes after the expression of rage, like the creative impulse that's unlocked by wiping things away, destroying things, and letting things go. But we'll get more into Kali in our ongoing weekly divination videos as the month continues to unfold. So we'll come back to her and explore some more resources about her, as well as some more resources as we continue to have this video unfold. But anyway, as we begin, let yourself take a deep breath and settle into your body, welcoming in February, welcoming in this month of creativity, this month of energy, this month of change and transformation. This is a month to feel it all, to welcome it all, to invite all of your parts to the table. So taking a deep breath, centering and grounding yourself in your own landscape, in your own time and your own place, where you feel yourself right now. And the first thing I actually wanted to share with you is one of the cards from our Snapshot deck for the month, a reminder that the additional resources are available to our Goddess Magic Patreon members. So you have your little Kali Snapshot packet with cards, and you have all the Snapshot cards and other good resources like that available to you at patreon.com/goddessmagic. However, this practice is open and accessible to anyone. So if you just go to 30daysofgoddess.com, you will find your sampler set of Snapshot cards. The core cards are there for you, and those are free for everybody. So everybody is welcome. There's additional fabulous resources available for members of the Goddess Magic community. So the first thing I wanted to share with you today, though, is that as I was looking back through the Snapshot cards, which I created while we were traveling, and so my attention's kind of split between different things, and I was trying to make sure to, actually I created them before we left, so my attention was split between different things, trying to get ready to go, trying to pack, trying to get ready for the holidays, and so I inadvertently repeated this card multiple times in the set. And then I get the sets of cards printed multiple times because I have one that goes into my daily practice prayer book, I have another set that goes into my Year of Goddess Magic book, and then I have a set that I keep in my little bag, which I don't have handy, with my Replenish book. And so I have like all these sets. So this card, essentially I have, like 6 or more copies of the same card. And I thought, well, this is the one I want to share at the start of our video, because clearly there is something here worth sharing if I'm going to have 6 copies of it. So hopefully I will have time to adjust that so you won't end up with 6 copies of it, but I personally have 6 copies. So here we go. This is a core reminder for this month as we let go of or destroy the things that we no longer need, that are no longer working for us, and we welcome in the energy of transformation and new creations. You are allowed to love where you are and what you do. You are allowed to craft a life for yourself that nourishes and holds you, a life both big enough and small enough for the infinite depths of you and the soft animal of you. Breathe deep, dear one. Set it down. You have what you need, and you can trust yourself. So as I said, there's kind of these twin things. The twin powers of Kali are destruction and creation. These are the twin powers. So I wanted to share with you a poem from this book, this Girl God anthology book, Kali Rising, Holy Rage. And I think, sometimes rage is scary. We don't like it when other people rage at us. Rage can be dangerous. Like, culturally speaking, rage can be dangerous. And yet sometimes we have to honor, claim, and inhabit our own holy rage as people, when people are women, or they are socialized as women, or have been encouraged to adapt to like bending to other people's rage. Our own rage can feel frightening. It can feel scary. It can feel like it's not allowed to exist. And so Kali really helps us claim and inhabit our own holy rage. And now is, in fact, a time for holy rage. There is a lot that is being destroyed. There is a lot of domination in the world that needs a counterbalance, that needs a counterpoint. And so I wanted to share this invocation from the author Sani Singh in that was published originally in her book, but it's in this Holy Rage Kali Rising book, and I think it's a good encapsulation of what this month can hold. Destroy what is old and rusted. Clear the dust in the being, soul, mind, spirit, body. Banish and send it to oblivion. Suck out and cast away the gunk, damp, dark, old, meek. Burn my whole being, letting in the new, sparkly, shiny, squeaky clean. Harness the warrior spirit, unleashing the light at the core, power, heart, blood, gut. Shine so bright it blinds. Dance fiercely, conquering demons, fear, doubt, hesitation, uncertainty. Bring in transformation, usher in love, myself, whole, united, one. So bring in transformation, usher in love. And remember, you are allowed to love your own life, even when there's a lot to rage about, even when there's a lot to be disappointed in, even when there's a lot that needs to be cleared out and cleaned away and destroyed and rebirthed and renewed and reforged. You're still allowed to live a life you love. You're still allowed to love what you do. You're still allowed to craft a life that has space for you at the heart of it, at the center of it. So one of the things I think it's important to remember out is we need both our creativity and our rage. We need both things. That's part of, these are the seeds of new beginnings. And so along those same lines, in terms of creativity, February is also the month of Bridget. Bridget also being a goddess of creativity and inspiration and transformation and change. And she is less associated with destruction than Kali is, but sometimes destruction is needed to make way for the new. And so I'm pleased to announce the birth of my newest book, The Sacred Flame, a Bridget devotional. And so you will find throughout this month that even though, so I know Kali and Bridget are from completely different pantheons, and I do not mean to disrespect either one of them by mixing them together, but I would suggest that perhaps these two goddesses can hold hands, and Kali has extra hands to share sometimes. They can hold hands at this time of year and they're both like burning brightly with this energy of creation and renewal. And so anyway, Bridget is, so you'll see in my forthcoming videos and the other resources that I'm creating this month, kind of an interrelationship between Kali and Bridget as these creative, forceful, powerful goddesses of creation and renewal. And so this book has just been released. I'm going to be doing a series on Substack that's about the sacred flame, nurturing our creativity. And then the book is available for pre-order in the Etsy shop, and it's also available on Kindle starting on February 1st. And then I'm also doing a free in-bulk replenish retreat for everybody on February 3rd. So make sure to pay attention to those. I'll link to all those resources below this video so that you can access those things, but I wanted to mention it. And if those dates have already passed, so be it. You can still embrace the themes and the power of this month of create. So a strong emphasis on creativity this month. What do you want to create? And I think when we feel the rage, when we feel the disappointment, when we feel the disillusionment with the current political climate, we are still invited to create the world we want to see. Like, that's what I keep coming back to. That's what I keep refocusing on, is what do I want to make? What do I want to share? What world do I want to live in? And how can I be part of bringing that into being? No matter how much swirls and whirls around me, no matter how many people it seems like are in opposition to the values that I embody, I can still create the piece of the world that I want to see. I can still create the piece of the world. So I think that's what we're really encouraged to step into this month, is what can we create from where we are? What can we create from where we are, even if we feel disillusioned, even if we feel disappointed, even if we feel the holy rage. What can we create anyway from here, from where we are? What can we do from our own spot in the web to keep tending the flame, to keep offering what we can, to persist in seeing beauty and magic and enchantment and delight and wonder, even in the face of it all? That in its own way can be a powerful act of resistance and of reclamation, is to see the magic anyway, to stand up for beauty, for justice, for enchantment, for wonder. To stand up for those things anyway is a powerful act of resistance in a culture of disillusionment and distraction and discord and destruction and conflict and domination. And we can stand up for what we want to see anyway, despite it all. And so that reminds me that coming back to the questions for this month, one is, what do you want to create? What do you want to create? And are you making space for that? Are you making space for what you say you want? Maybe we can pull back from all the things that conspire to divide and to conflict and to control and to crush. Maybe we can draw back from that and make space for what we say we want and create what we say we want to create. What inspires you? What do you want to make? What world do you want to see? And what action can you take to bring that into being? Where do you feel clarity in your own body? What tells you that you're on the right path? How do you make spaces, similar to the first one, for creative expression and exploration? What are you learning, feeling, and desiring in the moment? And also, what is your relationship like with rage, with anger? Can you allow yourself to feel the full range of your feelings? I talk about inviting all of our parts to the inner table. How can we make space for all of our own parts, all of the full range of our feelings? And so I wanted to share a little bit more from this Holy Rage book in a section by Lynn Sedgemore talking about about rage and creativity, and I thought it was a good one to look at. And so she said, and then going back to the fact that, like, my emphasis this month for myself is on creation, new possibility, change and transformation, forging something new where I am. And so I will be tapping into my own new little book, as well as to that sacred fire that both Bridget and Kali embody, and that we have inside of us too. And so this is what Lynn says, that reimagining the divine as female, seeing the goddess in the world, bringing those goddesses into the public consciousness, into our own awareness. These are radically disruptive feminist acts and are empowering. And so then she says, I remember the first time I met an image of the goddess Kali. Wow, here before me was my angry self, depicted so powerfully. The fierceness, the visceral rage, the desire to destroy patriarchy, the cutting through of the sword, the skulls, the blood, and so much more I couldn't even articulate, but felt true. This encounter transformed me. I had never experienced directly in such a raw, visceral way that anger and rage could be considered divine. Kali was rage personified, but she was also an image and depiction of the divine. She was sacred and holy, profoundly liberating and healing experience. Thanks to goddess spirituality, I began to accept the ongoing rage and anger in me as part of who I truly am in my fullness. So I often speak of we're full color humans. Sometimes I feel like, as a creative person, as somebody who makes my living creatively, I sometimes look around and I'm like, I feel like the dominant culture wants us to be kind of gray and dull, and I'm a full color human on a full color earth, and this is an impossible world that we inhabit, and we're here anyway with all of our ideas and all of our magic and all of our power, and we don't need to be dull and colorless. We don't need to be boxed in. We don't need to be distracted. We are full color humans, and we can inhabit that full range of humanity instead of being numbed out, doled out, sucked into conflict and outrage. So that's another thing to think about with conflict and outrage is sometimes conflict and outrage is manufactured by kind of the cultural machine. And so we do need to claim our own rage and our own power. But sometimes our attention is co-opted, powerfully co-opted, and we're like told where to look and what to be angry about. And it's not necessarily what is most needs our attention. We need to claim our own attention and focus on what really matters. And so anyway, rage and anger are part of our fullness and our muchness. So she says, part of who I truly am, my fullness, my divinity, and my wholeness. I began to ask 3 questions. How do I stop being run by anger? How do I stop my internal suffering? How can I use my anger more skillfully for myself and others? So for me, I channel my feelings into creating what I wish to see, giving what I wish to see, sharing what I wish to see, making what I can to be a counterpoint to the discord. I offer what I can to I say in the Bridget book, maybe be the sacred fire, may we be the healing hands, like may we be those things, may that be what we give. And so let's see what else I wanted to say about this. She's talking about learning to befriend her anger and claim her wild woman and all that kind of stuff. And then she says, I genuinely believe that by experiencing and accepting holy rage as part of our personality and our divinity, we can integrate and harness these feelings more skillfully and gracefully. We can be both fierce and compassionate. Holy rage inspires us to action. It mobilizes us to act on behalf of ourselves and others. It can be a genuine act of service to changing and improving the world. We can use our rage to liberate ourselves and anyone who is oppressed. Holding both rage and holiness enables us to make choices on how we bring both into the world. So holding both rage and holiness. And I would say holding both destruction and creation, holding both disappointment and delight, holding both inspiration and resignation, like holding both of those things. And then letting ourselves be full color humans. And so that was a lot from that section of the book. And so I'm actually talking a lot more about, I was thinking I was going to emphasize the creativity element more, but I've gotten into the holy rage more than I meant to. There's a lot boiling in the public cauldron, so to speak. And I think it's important to tap into those things. And so I do want to share my own poem from the Holy Rage book. This is a message for the unbound woman, or for the unbound human. And this is something, I originally wrote this for a friend of mine who was going through a hard time, and have drawn upon it a lot in my own life. So I'd like to share that with you now. She knows fatigue and fury, grimness and delight, hope and harmony. She has been heart-centered and heart-sore, serene and scattered, centered and wild-eyed. She has been slick with sadness, drenched with delight, alive with awe, frozen with fear, and crumpled with confusion. She has been raw and worn, rich with satisfaction and dappled with doubt and ripe with certainty. She has been shaken in her skin, stripped to her bones, and restored to the sacredness at the center of things. She has known tender renewal, savage beauty, wild mercy, and relentless grace. She is the one who has walked full-bellied into wholeness, who unleashes her magic, untethers her madness, roars her truth, and sings her story under both thunder and sun. Under both thunder and sun. And so, I would also like to share this Persist poem from A Year of Goddess Magic, which is available to you via Lulu or on our Goddess Magic Patreon. And so this is like one of the core poems for February. May you, and this is in the face of all that conspires to fragment and fracture and control and crush and confine. This is what we offer. May you persist in brave acts of creative possibility and rebellious statements of indwelling joy. May you persist in caring, in sharing, and in loving where and who you are. May you persist through struggle and celebration, persist in sunlight and in rain. May you persist in resting wisely, in nourishing the magic margins and silent spaces where wisdom lifts its head to speak. May you persist in wild wondering and compassionate awareness, persist with attention and delight. May you persist in fogginess and confusion, clarity and communion. Persist even when the path feels cracked and uncertain beneath your feet. May you persist in the blooming and the shedding, the seeking and the finding. May you persist in trust. May you persist with joy. May you persist with devotion, keeping time beneath your skin. May you persist in asking questions and persist in discovering answers about what makes you come alive. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing space with me this month. I want to remind you that if you're a member of the Goddess Magic community on Patreon, at any level, you do have access to a weekly community practice live that I do. So I'm live every week with inspiration and nourishment and encouragement and time for community sharing. So that's a really a powerful benefit of the Goddess Magic community is those weekly community practice lives. So if you want to explore more, I welcome you to join me. Otherwise, I welcome you to pop on over to 30daysofgoddess.com to print out all of your companion materials. And yes, may you harness your creativity this month. May you tap in to what makes you come alive. May you feel and allow all of those twin forces, destruction and creation, but also the other things that I mentioned, fatigue and flourishing and delight and determination and disappointment and joy. Let them all coexist in the full color, full-bodied humanity of you. Thank you so much for being here. And we're going to end with this other snapshot card. Let us heed the yearning, the persistent and insistent tug to what we know is possible. Let us reclaim and recall our power to choose, to create our lives with liberation at the center and purpose as our guide. Thank you so much for being here. Now go forth and create that world you wish to inhabit. Bye-bye, everybody. Keep living your magic.